Happy Friday. We made it 9 straight winning days, a 23-10 run. Let's freaking go. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I'm your host, Steven, and TGIF, happy Friday. It has been one heck of a week on this channel. It's been a ton of fun. As you just heard, we made it 9 straight winning days. We are now going for 10. It was a very small profitable day on Thursday, I will say it, but you know what? Profit is profit. We take it and we move on. No matter what shape or size it is in. So we're going to go over those in the bets recap in just a little bit. But I can't believe it's the last weekend before the MLB All-Star break, so I have 2 quick channel reminders, notes. For those of you that already fast-forwarded, sorry. Well, you're not listening anyways, I guess. But here we go. We don't do videos on weekends. You guys already know that. And the last games are on Sunday before the All-Star game, which means this is the last full MLB video until Thursday night for Friday games after the All-Star break in this coming week. So I'm going to still be posting bets for this weekend. Like always, it'll be on X, on Discord, and the community tab of our YouTube profile. Me and Ryan are going to try to do an MLB mid-season video, just like we did last year. Give out some predictions for the second half of the year, give out some futures. As you guys know, we hit a nice Blake Snell to win the Cy Young in our midseason video last year. So if we have some time, we're going to do that. But I'm going to be also using this time to dive in deep to the NFL and get all prepared for that NFL season that is right around the corner. So anyways, just want to remind you guys of that. But thank you, by the way. It's been a great first half of the year. I know the unit count is not perfect right now, but it's been a ton of fun, and I love talking baseball with you guys every single day. It's awesome. But here we go. It's time to get into it, and that means it's baseball fun fact. I got 2 of them, both about Derek Jeter. Madison Bumgarner hit more grand slams in just the year 2014, and by the way, he's a pitcher, than Derek Jeter did in his entire career. That is one of those wild baseball stats. And of course, this is brought to you by @ChicagoGolfPro, who is crushing it. And then a bonus one. Derek Jeter played only 1 game at home in his entire career where he wasn't in playoff contention. And that was the final game of his career. Insane. That man and that team won a lot of games. But in this video, we're going to recap yesterday and then go over the good and bad hitter matchups, the good pitcher strikeout matchups, of course, that pitcher report. And even though I didn't get a poll out there, we have a big game breakdown today, and then we'll wrap it all up with the best bets and the hitter parlay ideas with the recap. So hit that like button, leave a comment below like you guys have been doing every single day during the first half of this MLB season. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button as we're now on our way to 27,000 subscribers. And for the final time until after the All-Star break, let the baseball journey begin. All right, there it is. The small profitable day with a 3-2 nasty nester wasn't even close. That was an absolute beauty. If you had the Rays team total, you went over. If you had this under on his pitching outs, you went under. So either way, it was a nice one. Tanner Houck, 5+ Ks. He had a little slow start, but he ended up, I think, with 7 Ks. And the Red Sox money line, they just put an absolute beat down for a nice, easy win. Blue Jays team total over 1.5 the first 5 innings was an added play today. I wish I put a full unit on it. It was an easy cash, I believe, in the first inning, but I did a half unit on it. The 2 losses, Justin Steele that I added, probably I think it was my last added play. I was debating it all the night before. He just came out and got a lot of quick outs. He pitched an absolute gem, so I'm not going to sit here and ridicule him. He just couldn't get strikeouts. He had some 2-strike counts, but the Orioles did have some quick ground outs, fly outs, all that kind of stuff. He could have went the full 9 if they let him, but... And then Brian Reynolds. Freaking Brian Reynolds. How dare you? Yandy Diaz. I wasted Yandy Diaz because he dominated. I know he's 2 for 2 in his first 2 at-bats, but Reynolds just didn't get it done. I don't know what else to say. But either way, it's a winning day. It's 9 straight. We got to keep digging out of that hole that I built us, but we're going to do it. So there we are. There's the overall record. Player props are absolutely crushing it, up 12.5 units, and the game bets are absolutely crushing us. I mean, that's the reason. The game bets are like money lines, totals, team totals, things like that. But we're due for some positive regression there. So anyways, that's the bets recap. Enough rambling. Let's get into it. And it starts with the good and bad hitter matchups. We got 14 of them for you today, and it starts out with a couple Houston Astros hitters against Andrew Heaney. Altuve, as you see, 13 for 41, seen him a lot. Bregman, 12 for 37 against the lefty. And then we got Cedric Mullins. And I do want to say another Astro, Yordan Alvarez, 8 for 18, crushing him, but I did put it right there. He is injured. He's day-to-day. Didn't play yesterday, so if you are going to bet him, obviously, you got to make sure he's going to play. So that would help. But other than that, I got some Oriole players like I mentioned, and then Corey Seager over there with Marcus Simeon, both hitting Hunter Brown pretty well, especially Simeon. How about 7 for 11? He is having somewhat of a disappointing season for him. You know, he may turn it on in the second half, but Ian Happ hitting about 500 versus Sonny Gray up there, which is pretty impressive as well. So those are the good hitter matchups for July 12th. And now let's check out the ice cold matchups of the day. There's 4 of them. Another Oriole, but on the wrong side. Anthony Santander, 3 for 24 with 7 Ks against Garrett Cole. Brandon Crawford, 3 for 21 against Hendricks, which is not pretty because Hendricks is not that great. Ryan O'Hearn also against Garrett Cole. As you can see, there's Baltimore Orioles players on both pages. Just a ton of history between these two teams and players and pitchers and all that. And then Ben Attendee, 0 for 12, 4 Ks versus the lefty and ex-Mariner, Marco, I throw 80 miles an hour, Gonzalez. So those are the good and bad hitter matchups. And now let's talk some arms. All right, we got 2 pitcher strikeout matchups for you today, and it starts with the lefty Cole Ragans going up against Boston. What a dream matchup. Red Sox highest K percentage versus lefties in the last 3 weeks at 32.3%. I mean, those are some Seattle Mariner numbers right there. Ragans, 134 Ks and 109.2 innings. He has 6 plus Ks in 14 of his 19 starts this year. He does have a lower K rate on the road, so keep that in mind. 26% compared to 32.8 at home. The most Ks he's ever had in one game on the road this year is 9 against the Blue Jays, which is surprising because they don't strike out a lot. But that's the first one. Second one, Sonny Gray against the Cubbies. Cubs, 4th highest K percentage versus righties last 3 weeks, almost 27%. And Gray, 115 and 92.2 innings. He does have a better K rate at home, which is where he is in this one, 32.5% K rate compared to on the road, as you see those numbers. He did face the Cubs earlier this year, and he had 8 strikeouts in that game. So those are the 2 strikeout matchups. We got 2 other high strikeout pitchers I want to mention to you because you might be wondering where the heck are 2 of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. Well, let me tell you about them. Garrett Crochet versus the Pirates. Is this his last start for the White Sox? We will find out. But he has 146 Ks and 105.1 innings. He's just putting up video game numbers. He's the lefty Paul Skeens right now. Pittsburgh has the 10th lowest K percentage versus lefties the last 3 weeks. It's surprising, but they have not been striking out much, and that's why they're not an official matchup. But it doesn't mean he can't strike them out. Like Paul Skeens, these guys can just strike out anybody. The next one, the AL Cy Young favorite maybe, Tariq Skubal versus the Dodgers. We all know Skubal's a stud, 132 Ks in 110 innings. But the Dodgers have the 4th lowest K percentage versus lefties in the last 3 weeks, which is why I didn't keep it as these 2 as an official pitcher matchup. So, anyways, that's what we got for the strikeout matchups. And now let's take a look at the pitcher report. These are the first 8 matchups, and we start out with a pair of lefties in Detroit. Skubal, we already talked about. He's just an absolute stud going up against the veteran James Paxton, who has not been so great with a 5 expected ERA. Big starting pitcher advantage there for the Tigers. Obviously, offense advantage to the Dodgers. And then we got Suarez, who's been solid for the Phillies, going up against the A's there. Carrasco is just, I don't know how long he can make it through being a major league pitcher. He's just not very good. 5 expected ERA, over a 5 ERA. And then Taj Bradley, we've talked about him. He has been unbelievable in Tampa Bay at home, which is where he is pitching now. As you can see this year, he is a 30.8% K rate, kind of an under the radar good pitcher right now this year. And then Garrett Cole going up against the Orioles as we got another great AL East showdown this weekend. Reagan's we already talked about. No pitcher yet for the Red Sox, so on and so on. Not much to talk about here. Hunter Brown's been a little shaky lately, but overall been pretty decent with that 25.1% K rate. So there's all the numbers with the averages on the bottom. Hopefully this helps you get some winners or just starts your day. And now let's check out the final 7 matchups. All right, here is page 2, and I got to just start with Mr. Rutledge of the Nationals. He's only thrown 1 inning this year, so throw all those numbers out. But here's a number you can go off of. He has over a 6 ERA in 7 starts in the minor leagues. He is horrendous, and he is getting the start here versus Freddie Peralta and the Brewers. So just want to point that out. Crochet, we know how good he is. Hendricks, Gray, obviously advantage St. Louis in that one. Brian Woo 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 is coming back for Seattle, making an appearance. As you can see, has not given up a lot of hits. Hopefully he comes back into form again, going up against Tyler Anderson, who just continues to limit runs, even though we all keep waiting for him to get blown up. And then other than that, Randy Vasquez, I make fun of him all the time. He's been a little bit better lately. Still not great, but then we got Yariel Rodriguez, who's thrown well since he came back from injury, going against Ryan. I get hit a ton, Nelson, 11.1 hits per 9 innings. And then a good matchup down there in San Fran, which we will talk about right now. It's time for the big game breakdown. All right, we are heading out to the Bay Area where the San Francisco Giants host the Minnesota Twins in the big game breakdown. I didn't release a poll, so I just picked it today. I wanted to pick two different teams that we haven't talked about much, so we're going to do it. Twins moneyline minus 135, Giants moneyline plus 114 with a total of 7.5 runs in this one. All right, let's talk the spot in the schedule real quick. San Francisco Giants, fourth game of a 7-game homestand. They are 5-5 in their last 10. Twins, they had the day off yesterday after the doubleheader in Chicago on Wednesday. Minnesota playing better, 7-3 in their last 10 games. Advantage Twins here. Obviously, they are coming in off a day off. Starting pitcher matchups: Joe Ryan versus Kyle Harrison, the lefty for the Giants. Let's talk about Ryan. Now, I know, I understand, I say it all year long. It can be hard to trust the guy with two first names, but we're going to give it a shot. So he has had a solid first half of the year. I mean, it's been solid. 3.29 ERA, 2.99 expected. You saw the K rate, 27.2, with an extremely low 3.7% walk rate. You love to see it. A guy who's striking out batters and also has command and is not walking anybody. It's just awesome to see. Home road splits, this is why it's been impressive. Not a huge difference here, but 3.81 ERA at home. He's actually been better on the road with a 2.78 ERA. Almost identical K rate splits, almost identical XFIP numbers home and away. Lefty righty splits. He's given up a little bit higher average to righties, 232 with a 431 slugging as opposed to a 203 average and 366 slugging to lefties. So righties have actually hit him a little bit better this year. He's given up exactly 8 home runs to righties and 8 home runs to lefties. That's just the kind of pitcher he is right now. He does have higher K rate versus righties, 28.7% compared to 25.6% against lefties. He's given up 3 or less earned runs in 15 of his 18 starts. I mean, that is as solid as it gets. And he actually improves as the game goes on. 4.57 ERA the first time through an order, 2.5 ERA the second time, and a 2.54 ERA the third time. It's pretty impressive. As long as he can get through that lineup that first time, he starts becoming even more dominant. So that's Joe Ryan. Now let's talk about the lefty, Kyle Harrison for the Giants. It's been somewhat of a shaky first half of the season for the young lefty there. He has a very average strikeout rate, a very average walk rate. He's just an average dude. That's all. I mean, baseball-wise. I don't know him personally. Probably a good guy. But home road splits, similar home road ERA, 4.10 at home, 4.36 on the road. XFIP is quite a bit higher, showing he's been getting lucky on the road this season. But again, he's going to be home here, so it doesn't really matter. But he does have a 4.97 XFIP on the road and a 3.77 at home. Higher K rate at home, but he's not an elite strikeout guy like a lot of people thought he was going to be. 23.1% at home, 17.6% K rate on the road. He does have a lower walk rate at home as well, 5.6% compared to 9.1% on the road. And then righty-lefty splits, it's pretty similar, like Mr. Ryan. 282 average, I mean, not similar numbers, just similar in regards to they're even, but he is giving up more hits than Ryan. 282 average, 451 slugging to lefties, and a 270 average and 432 slugging to righties. So, you know, righties or lefties are hitting him pretty decent this year. He does have a much higher K rate versus lefties. Not exactly surprising considering he's a lefty, but 28.2%. And this is insane because 28.2% versus lefties versus righties, 17.8. So he thrives on those lefty-lefty matchups for those strikeouts. Much higher walk rate versus righties, 8.6% compared to 3.8% versus lefties. He's given up 3+ earned runs now in 5 of his last 6 starts, so that's not very good. But he did miss some time in June. He had a high ERA in June, but I think he only made like 2 or 3 starts. So that's the starting pitchers. Now let's talk offense. Twins, one of the streakiest offenses in Major League Baseball, and they are scorching hot right now. Versus lefties in the last 3 weeks, it has been unreal. Number 2, WRC plus. Only the A's have a better WRC plus versus lefties. You didn't see that coming. Third best slugging, second best OPS, 5th lowest walk rate. And then we go to the Giants. This is a team that has been much better versus lefties, but unfortunately for them, they are facing a righty here. Last 3 weeks, 21st WRC plus, 17th slugging, 20th OPS, 11th highest K rate. And by the way, Joe Ryan versus the Giants almost did make the pitcher strikeout matchup. They are top 10 in walk rate, though. It's pretty much the only thing they're doing decent against righties lately, 8.4%. Now the bullpens, Twins fully rested. Like I mentioned, a day off yesterday. I'm gonna imagine that everyone's available. Giants, they used both Tyler and Taylor Rogers yesterday through 17 and 21 pitches. Randy Rodriguez also threw 31 pitches. Obviously, not going to be available more than likely. Last 30 days bullpen though, Twins have been pretty solid. 9th best ERA in the league at 3.59. The Giants, 22nd best ERA, 4.61. So advantage in the bullpen, it's the Twins. They're more rested. They have better arms. They've been throwing better. Now let's just get right into my best bet. And that's what we're here for. I got a half unit play, and I like it. And I'm playing kind of cautious right now, just so you guys know on these bets, because I remember last year going into the All-Star break, people are kind of starting to check out. Going out of the All-Star break, you got to be careful as well. So I'm going to make sure I don't just go crazy here. But half unit play, give me the Twins on the money line. Simple, minus 135 on DraftKings. Yes, it's a little juicy, but honestly, I think the odds should be much higher. Minus 150, minus 160 on this one. Like I mentioned, the Twins are absolutely annihilating lefties. Byron Buxton and Jose Miranda have the two best batting averages in the league the last 7 days. Not versus lefties, righties, whatever, just overall. Recent lefties that have faced them. They scored 4 runs off the AL Cy Young favorite Tariq Skubal in 6 innings. 8 versus Jordan Montgomery. 12 total in 2 different games against JP Sears. 8 versus Austin Gomber. 2 versus Carlos Rodon, 3 versus Reagans. They're going to score some runs here, guys. Framber was really the only one that slowed them down in the last, 10 starts against them. Facing Harrison, who is just an average lefty, in my opinion. He can walk some guys, which I think is going to help, obviously. But like I mentioned already, he's given up 3 or more in runs in 5 of 6. I mean, he's kind of a guy where, you're going to get like 5 innings, 3 earned runs given up off him. But now he's going up against the top offense, so they might even be able to score more. I know it's in San Fran. A little bit harder to hit and score runs there, but I still like them to get some runs. In the last 3 weeks versus lefties, just to note, the Twins also have had the 19th most plate appearances versus lefties. So they haven't had a ton, but they've scored the second most runs off of them, even with those few plate appearances at 32 runs. Only the Brewers have scored more runs than them, and it's by 1 run, and they also have 83 more plate appearances, just to show how dominant the Minnesota Twins have been against lefties at scoring runs. Giants bullpen, bottom 10 bullpen, like we talked about. They might not have the Rogers duo as well. Joe Ryan, solid as a rock. I mean, better even on the road, under a 3 ERA, like we talked about. Just overall, we're getting the better starting pitcher. We're getting the much hotter and better lineup in these splits, especially. And we're getting the better bullpen. And it's only minus 135. So give me the Twinkies on the money line. It's a big advantage in all 3 phases. And that is my big game breakdown. All right, this second one takes us out to Philly, where the Phillies host the Oakland A's. Phillies on the money line, minus 278. Athletics on the money line, plus 225, with a total of 8.5 runs. I'm going to keep it simple and not overthink it. Give me Trey Turner over 1.5 bases at minus 120 on Bet365 for a half unit. This guy's been absolutely insane. And let's go check out Outlier to go over some of the numbers, just so you guys can see what I'm looking at. And before we do, as you can see in the upper right, you're going to see all the different sports books, all the different odds. You don't have to go to every single sports book. This tells you what it is. It keeps it up to date, and then you can click on it and go right to your account. There is just so many things that Outlier does to save you a ton of time and also help you with your research. So click that link below in the description and go get signed up for the free trial and more. So let's look at Trey Turner now. Last 10 games, over 1.5 bases. He has a 7 out of 10 hit rate. I mean, we'll take that, right? And now let's go to facing lefties. As you can do, toggle, go to lefties. And if you go to last 5, how about 5 out of 5? 100% hit rate, we'll take that. Last 10, 70% hit rate against lefties. And then 2024 overall, 57%. But this guy's been scorching hot lately. He's hitting 371 at home. He's just doing it all. And also, if you want to see any other bets like hits, runs, and RBIs, you just go up there to the upper left, you click on it, and there you can see what he's done in 2024. Maybe last 10, you want to see how much has he gone over that 2.5 line. 70% on that one as well. So just so much to see here. But Trey Turner in general has just been awesome. He's facing a very hittable Hogan Harris, giving up around 9 hits per 9 innings, doesn't miss many bats at all. And Trey Turner is just hitting anything in front of him. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he just hits a bomb in his first at bat. We cash it and we move on. So, and again, he has 2+ hits in 7 of 10, also hitting over 400 in the last 7 days. I mean, what more can I say? Give me Trey Turner over 1.5 bases as my second best bet. All right, guys, as you know, we have a break in the schedule in the MLB, and what better time to sign up for KALSHI right now, do some trading. It's just like stocks, but it's stuff that actually interests you. There are so many markets here, as you can see. There's just so many different things you can bet on. And right now, we can't make a bet. It's late at night. The trading's been paused. But in the morning, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to Gladiator 2. Now, here's the thing. I had to get Ryan's opinion on this because this is one of the most embarrassing things I can admit. I have actually not seen Gladiator 1. Yes, you can make fun of me in the comments. But I talked to Ryan about it. He's seen the first one, and we think it's going to be a pretty high score. Maybe not above 90. We're probably going to go yes for 66 cents, which is a favorite. And we're going to place that bet in the morning above 79 score. We think it's going to be solid. You could take a chance above 90, but either way, we like to have fun with these. And if we just go back real quick to the main page, you're just going to see so many different markets, and you go all the way up to the top. You got politics, culture, companies, crypto, finances. I mean, there is absolutely everything. Click the link below. It is a ton of fun. Me and Ryan are loving it every single day. You can sell your shares, all that kind of stuff. It is federally regulated in 50 states as well. So that is KALSHI. Click that link below. But now it's time to get back to the bets. All right, this third and final bet is a hitter parlay. Give me the little man, Jose Altuve and Austin Riley, 1+ hit each at -107 on FanDuel. This is a half unit play for me. Mr. Altuve, as you saw earlier, he is hitting well off the lefty Andrew Heaney, 13 for 41 with 5 extra base hits. Not scorching hot, but he's seen him enough times. He also happens to just be hitting lefties well. He's hitting 333 off of them, and he's a career 324 hitter versus lefties, just so you know. And he's also hitting 317 at home. So at home versus lefties is just his comfort spot. He has 1+ hit in 12 of his last 15 games. If you don't know, he hits leadoff, so he's always got the chance to have 5 or more at-bats here. So I like him to stay hot. The second one, Austin Riley, who I don't think we've even bet this year. He is facing Randy Vasquez, who's just given up a ton of hits. The most hits per 9 innings on the slate today at 12.3. Austin Riley is finally heating up. There's some stars out there that are finally heating up that got off to a really slow start. But Riley is hitting 346 in his last 7 days. He has 1+ hit in 9 of his last 10 games. And he's hitting better versus righties, 282 compared to 202 versus lefties. He's also hit 289 in June, and so far in July, he's hitting 333. Not too shabby. If you don't know much about him, he's a solid hitter. When he gets going, he can really get going. He just got off to a slow start, but I like what I've seen from him. He is finally heating up. So give me Jose Altuve and Austin Riley to each get 1 hit as my third and final best bet. And now let's check out some hitter parlay ideas. I got some more, even after those 2 that I already mentioned. The first one, Byron Buxton of the Twins, tied for the #1 batting average in the league the last 7 days, hitting 476. Who's he tied with? Jose Miranda. We already talked about it with the Twins, his teammate. He's also crushing lefties, Mr. Buxton, hitting 317. He's facing Harrison. We've talked all about that game. Alex Bregman, Altuve's teammate, hitting 348 the last 7 days, 1+ hit in 9 of his last 12. He's also 12 for 37 off Andrew Heaney, hitting 310 in June, hitting 333 in July. The only reason I picked Altuve instead of Bregman is Bregman hasn't hit lefties that great this season overall, but he has hit Heaney pretty well. So just want to mention that, though. Third one, Julio freaking Rodriguez, the Seattle Mariner that I am waiting to just absolutely take off in the second half of the year. He has 10 hits in his last 5 games. He is hitting 333 this month. About freaking time, Julio. He is a star player that some people thought would be in the MVP mix. That is not the case. He started extremely slow, chasing pitches, swinging at first pitches, but he's starting to heat up finally. He's facing the lefty Tyler Anderson, who rarely misses bats. He finds a lot of barrels, a lot of hard contact, and Julio has hit better versus lefties this year at 283 compared to 243 versus righties. The fourth one, the big man, Kyle Schwarbs, 6-game hitting streak and a 2-game home run streak right now. He's faced Hogan Harris 3 times, and he has 3 hits. That's right, 3 for 3 with a bomb off him. In general, Kyle Schwarber, even though he's a lefty, he absolutely loves facing lefties. He's hitting under 200 versus righties, but versus lefties, how about a 339 average? That is not too bad for a guy who doesn't really hit for average in general. He just hits bombs. That's what he does. But anyways, those are my 4 hitter parlay ideas, my 3 best bets, and all the research help for Friday. Now let's check out the recap. All right, breaking news. We have changed the first bet to a full unit play. That's right. I like the Twins money line too much to not have a full unit on it. So just want to let you know that happens during the video sometimes, and I just want to tell you. So second one, Trey Turner over 1.5 bases, half unit play, -120. And then that hitter parlay, Altuve and Austin Riley, 1+ hit each at -107 for a half unit. Any added plays will be in the pinned comments on X and on Discord. And then, of course, all the weekend bets, since we don't do long videos, will be on Discord, X, and the community tab of YouTube. So it's been one heck of a ride the first half of the MLB season. We cannot thank you guys enough for all the support, all the likes, all the comments, everything. But let's end it strong. So anyways, hope everyone has a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.